Hi, Patty and Lynn.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Patty, that meeting was interesting. I think that we should have a My Senior Center Zoom.
Yeah, I've already emailed them.
Oh, good.
See
Oh,
if
good.
I'm listening to the,
Yeah, no, I needed a Lynn on the call because I felt like going, somebody's got to write this down. Like, they were having such good ideas.
oops, all right. I know it looks like folks are gathering, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, but I can see the value when you and Lynn do the Zooms to have each other to.
Oh, I could not do this without Lynn.
I know.
I could not.
That's why I was like, yeah, I mean, yours are much more, yours are technical, but yeah, I can see how you need two people.
All right.
Hey, Lynn, I just want to know if I'm always going to have to change my name.
Well, there are some meetings already scheduled.
Mhm.
So anything new I'm trying to put on yours, the one with your login,
Uh-huh.
but anything that was previously scheduled is
Okay.
on the old ones.
That's okay. I just was like, is there a way to do?
Yeah, rather than having to transfer everything over to different accounts.
Yeah, I wouldn't transfer it, Lynn. I think it would be a
Yeah,
nightmare.
no.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's fine. Gotta close my door.
Well, Lynn, I don't know if you saw my last email, but I need your advice.
Yep, I answered you.
Okay. So we'll just give it a few minutes. I'm guessing that we're not going to have a very large crowd today because we had such a large crowd when we did this last time. But now we're recording it, so.
Yeah.
The
Hi,
recording.
Kathleen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Susan.
Hi, are the recordings available on the MCOA website?
They will be.
Okay.
Yeah. It
We're
takes a
working on
couple of
getting them all
days.
up. It used to be in these sessions that Lynn and I would have to both remember to hit record, and one time that did not happen. So now we're very careful to make sure it does. But it's all part of the Zoom learning process. So while we are waiting, one of the things that I'd like to ask people to do on a Zoom call is to rename yourself so that, for example, I know that Kathleen is from the Norfolk COA or Lynn is from MCOA, or so that, because it makes it easier for us as MCOA staff to know who's in the call, but also I'm finding that these calls attract a lot of people who I may not normally interact with at a senior center. So it's great to meet a lot of new people, but I also don't recognize your faces. So it makes it easier for me to be able to call on people and to be a little bit more sensitive to the needs of the community if I know what town you're from. So if you go to the upper corner and click, or you can click on participant, there are a number of different ways, find rename, and give us your first name and your COA if you're, or more than that, it's up to you. All right. Well, it's a little bit after 3, and I know that the statewide call is still going on, but I'm going to go ahead and start because I don't want to waste your time. And also, you should know that Leonard and I are in the process of rescheduling these meetings, so there won't be a conflict. Originally, we didn't have a problem, but the statewide calls are getting longer, so we don't want to keep bumping up against them. So welcome to the MCOA How to Use Your Facebook Page During a Pandemic, something I never thought any of us would have to learn how to do. So all of this happened really quickly, as I don't need to tell you this, and we're not quite sure when it's going to end. There's discussion about opening COAs, opening your doors, I should say, because you're open, you're providing services. But that will be in phase 3, and we're not quite sure when that's going to be. So in the meantime, COAs have really jumped to push all sorts of programming out on their Facebook pages, as well as on online platforms. But today we're really just going to talk about how you can use Facebook and to not only to help you with the instant needs that you're facing right now in terms of nutrition and transportation and outreach, but also now where people are using Facebook for programming. So I always like to remind people about the Facebook demographic. It is, I was surprised by this, 57% male, but of all, so it's sort of a mix of people. The average Facebook user has 155 friends. The engagement of older adults on Facebook is really significant. And so this is a great way to communicate with your community.
So I called her and I said, don't go because she sent me a message.
So
saying,
can I ask whoever, I think Janice Long is,
I
thank you
muted
very
her.
much, Lynn. So I've done a review here of different COA websites. Indeed, on my own Facebook feed, I have probably about 20 COA Facebook pages, which really is a lot of fun, so I can see what's going on across the state. And so I'm just going to give you a few examples. So one of the most important things that you can do is to tell the community what you're doing. You're offering essential services. As I said before, your doors may be closed, but you guys are working your tails off. And it's important for people to know, not only seniors, but older or adult children who are outside of the community, people who are worried about their older neighbors. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who are going to come to your Facebook page for information. Here's another good example. This was back in April. People are answering questions, there's Shine appointments, technology, pharmacy, transportation, all sorts of stuff is going on at this particular council, but this is pretty typical of what's going on across the state. Also, COAs are helping to spread the word about town services. And so basic guidance about how to wear a face covering sounds pretty simple, but it can fill your Facebook page up in literally 2 minutes, and it's really important information. And also it reminds your town manager or administrator how important you are as a way to connect with the community. This is another good example of helping people get access to information about food and the work that's going on in this particular community. Again, this is typical of what we're seeing across the state, but we're trying to make sure that people get what they need. Also, communities are, in this case, I will not force you to listen to a town manager from the town of Dover, but in this case, there's postings of town managers about what the community needs to know, because older adults, seniors in the community are going to go to your website or to your Facebook page and are going to look for this kind of information. And it's a great way to help show your ability to amplify a really important message. Also, you can help spread the word about town services. Obviously, libraries have their doors closed. The libraries across the state have been really terrific about putting all of their programming online, but people still need to know about it. And to the extent that older adults have an affection for the library, it's a good way to attract a new crowd. Also, you see this across the state where COAs are saying thank you to the community. Everybody likes to see their picture up on the web. And so it's nice to be able to say thank you for what people are doing for the COA, because there's just a tremendous amount of outreach that's going on. So how to use Facebook? You see it primarily two ways. One is to use Facebook to promote access to programming provided by other people. So you can promote a library program, you can promote something that your town manager is doing, you can promote something that's going on in other places in the community. You can also use Facebook to provide direct programming through live streaming. So these are examples of people promoting events. So in Longmeadow, they have a live cello concert by a particular cellist. This man would appear at the senior center normally, so it's a familiar face to the community. And so they're live streaming, meaning somebody is holding a phone usually and recording this particular cellist, and then they're having a Q&A session on the Facebook page. In Holland, here are two other examples. They're promoting their programming, chair yoga, and other events that I'll show you later on in Holland. But a good way just to get the basic schedule out and to remind people that COAs are still pushing out all sorts of not only essential services, but now programming. More examples of promoting programming, another piano concert, which was just fabulous. I confess I listened to it. Fitness videos outside, which are safer in some ways because you are out of doors. And then we see lots of creative programming that COAs are creating. So I didn't realize that Susan is a terrific cook, and she has a regular cooking show that she records on her phone in her kitchen, and the seniors in her center love it. Same thing, we've got Texas Hold'em Monday nights at the Holland Senior Center. And again, a way to engage different people at different times of the day. More examples, Duxbury has an interior designer who does a program. The Clinton Senior Center has an exercise program that is, again, recorded by the artist on their phone and then shared through the Facebook page. So we have some basics here on how to create a Facebook page. And most people have done this, or it's pretty simple, so I don't feel the need to go through that. But the question that we get more often is the question about live stream Facebook. So Lynn, I'm going to click on this link, and I'm really going to hope it works this time, because the last time I tried to use it, it didn't work. So I had her check it. Let's see if it's going to work today. I'll wait. I'm going to have to skip this.
Or maybe because it's in another program, since you can only share one program at a time in Zoom.
Oh, I didn't realize that, Lynn. Okay.
Yeah, we may want to just go to YouTube and share it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try this again. Let me get rid of it. Okay. Hold on. All right. So just thinking
Can you
of
copy it
that.
and paste it in YouTube?
It is on YouTube. I will send out to everybody who's on this call a, whoops. All right, I will send out that link. I feel like I'm just destined not to be able to use that link, Lynn. Unless you can pull it up. I don't seem to be able to. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. And see, link the Lynn. Let's see.
Oh, no volume though, yet.
Is it not?
I don't hear the, yeah, no audio.
Okay.
So I can
Okay.
go over a little bit. It's really very easy to live stream on Facebook. When you go to do a post, just like you would enter in a post, there is a button that says live, and you just click that and it starts recording. And you just, hold the phone up like you would to take a picture, and it streams live for as long as you want to record it. You push the button to start it, you push the button to stop it, and then you can save the video afterwards. It's really very, very easy.
And you can see lots of examples online. So there are always things to think about when you live stream. And it's sort of basic stuff. A boring talking head is a boring talking head. So you want some action, some music, some activity. Remember that the whole world is watching, literally. So if somebody walks by behind you while you're filming, or someone jumps into the picture, all of those things can compromise what you're trying to accomplish. And if you're recording an artist, you need to obtain a written release from that person, because it's their content, they own it, and so you're responsible for getting their permission. So at our last session, we had a few people who were talking about Facebook. I didn't want to ask them a second time, but I do want to go through, because I have a list of a couple of questions that were asked in the last session. And the most commonly asked question we get about Facebook is, where do you get your content? And the answer is, content is readily accessible. The key with your Facebook page is to constantly change the content so people keep coming back. And in a perfect world, you want to change it every morning so that people get in the habit of, when they pull up their local newspaper, or they pour a cup of coffee, one of the things they're going to do is jump on the COA site and see what's going on. And so some COAs will post a joke. Others will post information about, for example, today, the Alzheimer's Association released a phenomenal new website, and that's about to go out to all COA members. And so a really good example would be to post the link to this website so that people who were care partners would have access to really terrific information. And that probably is just going to take you a couple minutes to do. I tend to keep sort of a list of things that I want to post that I think are valuable. And MCOA provides a lot of that in our briefs. We provide a lot of it, or I try to provide a lot of it, through the Dementia Friendly Massachusetts website. So for example, today we're posting on the site a really terrific TED Talk about how to reconnect with someone after they've been diagnosed with dementia. So there are lots of examples. It's not all that time consuming. And in some ways, it's more about getting into the habit than it is anything else. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Lynn if there's something you'd like to add.
basically there's content everywhere. So you just have to see what you want to post. It's a lot of sharing. I have, several COAs on my Facebook that I just share and post their information out. You have to be careful when it's programming, because if somebody's getting paid or not paid, or, you never know. So I don't share the programming, but you can always contact another COA to see if it's okay to share their programming. And again, doing live is really easy. It's just like posting on Facebook. You just click the button and there you go. It's just like recording a video on your phone, because that's exactly what you're doing. So that's about all I have to add, Patty.
All right. Any questions for us?
I have a
All right.
question. You
Sure.
say you should change the Facebook page. You mean you should make a post at least once a day?
I
I
think that's
would, yeah.
yeah, I would.
When you said change, I thought we don't have to change the banner, correct? You would just make a post.
Mm-mm.
No, you can leave the banner as it is. You just want to post often to keep people, top of mind. Keep in front of people.
What I think I said this before, but you want to have happen is that for seniors to think of this as a habit. I read the Boston Globe. I check the Facebook page at the senior center to see what's going on. And there's a ton of content. It's everywhere. So that's the easy part. It's building your community, and you build the community by putting information out there that's really helpful, and by changing your page so that they know when they go back that it's going to look different. They're going to learn something new.
Yeah, I have another question too. Do you think that the Facebook Live presentation is better than sending someone a Zoom link to participate? Do you know if there's any difference?
I don't think there's much difference, really. Facebook Live isn't interactive as much. It can be a group of people talking. It can be because you're just recording whatever is in front of your phone. So it's kind of six of one, half dozen the other. You just have to be careful with the Zoom links. You don't really want to put them on your Facebook because of Zoom bombing and the wrong people getting the links. But you can always put a registration link there for people to sign up, which you can do through Zoom, or you can use we use Constant Contact, or not Constant Contact, we use FormSite for registrations that has a free account. I'm not sure how many people can sign up for a class. I think it's only like 10 or 15 to begin with, but and then it's like $20 a month. It's not a huge cost for something like that for people to register. But it's as far as the technology, I don't think it really matters so much. You can put the Zoom video on Facebook once it downloads and converts. It's just a little bit easier if you want to put the video on Facebook to do Facebook Live, I think.
So you think it's safer? So you don't suggest that you put the Zoom link on a post?
I wouldn't, just because everybody in the world can get it. And then you have people in your classes or your support groups or whatever you're doing that you may not want there.
Good to know.
I also think that for, if we put this in briefs not too long ago, the Pew Center on the media studies different generations and how they use technology. And it's not what you think it is, in the sense that older adults use technology a lot and they use Facebook a lot. And so I think that in some ways, if you're going to something that you're familiar with, you go there to look at your pictures of your grandchildren and your neighbors or whatever is happening around you, you might be more inclined to click there than to go learn a new platform like Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it comes to technology, as you could see, it's hard sometimes to get it to work. It's always good when it does, but it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to, in spite of the fact that I sent it to Lynn early this morning and said, test
Yep.
this to make sure
And
it
I
works.
tested it. It
And she
worked,
tested
but
it and everything works. And so, so to make it less intimidating, pick something that's familiar.
yeah.
I have a question, Lynn. Can you record a Zoom meeting, say with your staff, and then maybe put that on Facebook?
Sure.
But it's
Yeah,
not live, so you record it and then put it on?
Yeah, Zoom, when you record it, I would record it in the cloud because it automatically converts for you.
Okay.
Whereas if you do it on your computer, you have to wait for it to convert, and sometimes you click a button or something and it doesn't fully convert, and then you lose your recording, as we know all too well. So I would do it on the cloud, and then it saves it as an MP4 video file, and you just upload that. You can upload it to YouTube, you can upload it to Facebook, wherever you want to put it.
Okay.
You also can upload it to your local cable access if you want to broadcast it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a comment and maybe a question, because I don't do Facebook, but Kathleen was asking the difference. But Zoom, you can be interactive like this. Facebook, there's a video of, say, Kathleen makes herself live, and then
Right.
people type out their questions and comments to Kathleen, and they go by a mile a minute, depending on how many you get. So it's not quite the same, Kathleen, unless I misunderstand how it works.
You are right, Susan. It's different. Facebook is more one way, whereas Zoom is more interactive.
I think the one thing about Facebook that I have seen, particularly looking at the online support groups that are out there that are on Facebook, which frankly have, in one case, like 10,000 people log into this. There's a long stream of questions. And so I think it's called the Purple Sherpa. And it's for people who are just beginning the process of learning how to be a care partner. So unlike in Zoom, on Facebook, you can go back and read that whole stream of all the questions and recommendations and supportive comments and how, bathing, all the questions that you want to ask, and they're all there and answered. And you don't have that option as readily in Zoom.
Right.
And also Zoom is not a secure platform, neither is Facebook. So there are some communities that we have meetings with that cannot be on Zoom. They have to call in because they cannot be on the platform.
I have another question. I'm sorry. When you
No,
say
keep going.
to go on, to do Zoom on the cloud, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to break that down, Lynn.
Yeah, there are two options. You can record either on your local computer or in the Zoom cloud, which is basically on Zoom server, and then you download it from there. When you record in the cloud, it automatically converts for you because it saves as a Zoom file, and then it converts to the MP4 video file. And I know firsthand, when you record on your computer, you have to give it a lot of time to convert, and it's really easy to accidentally click something and stop it converting.
That would be me.
We've both been there.
Yeah.
We have to redo a training, in fact, that I recorded on my local computer thinking there wasn't enough room in the cloud. And accidentally clicked that button and it stopped converting, and now we have no recording of this training. So yeah, the recording in the cloud would be what I recommend, because it automatically converts for you.
So when you click on record, you have an option of either
Yep.
doing it on the cloud or,
Exactly. Yep.
Oh.
It gives you the option to record locally or on the cloud.
Does that depend on which device you use, or could you use a desktop? It doesn't matter.
I don't believe it matters. I think it might matter if you have a free account versus a paid account, but I would have to check into that.
Okay. And as far as Facebook goes, what about copywriting? Say you make a funny little video with jib jab, or you know, put your faces on little dancers to entertain people. Is that like you can just put whatever you want on Facebook?
For the most part, you can, but there are copyright laws that you could get caught up in.
Okay.
The issue is that in some ways you got to get caught, for one thing, through Facebook censors. And they, for the most part, have better things to do than worry about jib jab videos. But I think the content should be appropriate, obviously. But even right now, you will see Facebook Live, people, for example, reading a book to their grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a copyright violation because they're reading Goodnight Moon on live Facebook. But at this point, during this sort of crazy time, lots of things are being forgiven.
Lynn, one more question. Once it's recorded on the cloud,
Mhm.
how do you access it after? This might be a stupid question, but
Oh, no, not at
Is
all.
that-
You can just download it. It has a download button or a link, and you can either link to it, which I don't normally recommend linking to it just because your cloud will get filled up because you only have so much space that they allot every account. So you just download it, and then you can upload it to Facebook or to YouTube or wherever you need to.
so you download it on your device.
Yeah.
And then, Janice, you can pretty much do anything you want with it.
Yep. Yep. Okay, thank you so much.
It
yeah, I
is
have a
so-
question. I'm sorry.
ahead.
I have a feeling that to do it on the cloud, I think you have to have a paid account, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Let me,
Do you use a paid account?
we do. Let
I
me,
mean,
look
I have
real
a
quick
personal
here.
account and a paid account. And what I've been finding is that, for example, on the personal accounts, technically they were only 40 minutes
Mhm.
and that you were supposed to be thrown off. Well, now they don't do that anymore because so many competitors are coming out with Zoom lookalikes. I can do Google, you can go anywhere now. So I found that Zoom has gotten much more flexible in terms of what it allows me to do with my personal account because it wants to keep me as a customer.
Just looking very quickly though, I believe you are right. I think you have to have a
Oh,
paid
okay.
account to record.
It's
record on the
definitely longer
cloud.
than 40 minutes though.
Right,
It
yeah,
is-
good.
Yeah, they have extended the 40 minutes.
Hmm.
But it looks like you do have to have a paid account in order to record it.
Okay.
So North Reading has an account. It's very stagnant. It's just been sitting there. So now we have to become active. I do not have a personal Facebook account. I'm talking about Facebook.
Okay.
And, so it's set up, I believe, for no comments, but can people post whatever they want on there?
Generally people can't post on a business page. Only the business can post. They can post, I mean, they can respond. If you don't have comments turned on, then you probably no, I don't think they can post at all.
Right, you can control that.
Yeah,
You control that in the settings so that you either
Right.
allow posts or you don't.
Right. Yes, so basically, if someone does post something, can you delete it, like a comment?
yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I have it set up so that people can't post to our page. But if I make a post, they can write comments on that post.
Right.
But they can't post anything. It's just it's just me that does any of the posting,
Okay.
which is of course different from your profile. And you can't do a Facebook page unless you have a personal profile to link
Right.
it to. Now, the town of Norfolk actually pays a company to archive everything that we post on Facebook.
Oh,
So we are tracked and everything is kept in an archive system on a paid, the town of Norfolk pays a company several $1,000s a year to archive our Facebook account for each of the
interesting.
departments that has a Facebook page.
Okay.
So Katie in Townsend's asking on the chat bar, which types of groups cannot be on Zoom? And I confess that pretty much anybody can be on Zoom if your town permits it. And I, like most of you, probably spend most of my working days on Zoom. Tonight I'll be in a 2-hour choir rehearsal. Tomorrow night Saturday, I guess I'll be at a Shiva. Pretty much everybody's using it. The one thing that we have seen or heard about from support groups in particular, that sometimes people with dementia have a tough time with all the faces on the screen. So care partners are more comfortable than people living with the disease. And so, sometimes you turn the camera off and you just have to figure out a way to make people comfortable. But Zoom can be used it is amazing to me how Zoom's being used right now. Whether it is, people I'm trying to think, Drake-It are doing all sorts of craft projects. I mean, there's all sorts of online activity. Clearly it's an infinite platform because of what I'm seeing on it.
Yeah, right now I've been trying to figure out, like you just did, you're doing this on Zoom. And if you want to do a YouTube video, we have our, someone at the office wants to share a video on traveling to Ireland, and then she wants to have a discussion group afterwards. And we don't know how to get that video onto the Zoom screen so that people can all watch it and then talk about it afterwards. I've been trying, that's my schedule for today, to figure that out.
Yeah, if you have it pulled up on your computer already on YouTube, you should be able to play it. The problem is we were in PowerPoint and I think it wouldn't let us switch to YouTube.
Right, I've seen how it can work on PowerPoint. I've seen a video on that, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything on how to link to a YouTube video.
I would just load the video on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're using. And when you go to share your screen, you just share that particular screen. Zoom has a limitation of, if you're on your desktop when you share your screen, you can switch between programs. But if you're on a particular program when you share your screen, it'll only share that program.
Right.
So you might want to explain to her how to share your screen.
Yeah, if
That's a
you,
good-
the screen sharing is at the bottom of the screen. There is a little toolbar that comes up when you hover your mouse over it, and there's a little button that says share screen.
Right, that part I figured out.
Okay, yeah, so that's how you share your screen. When
But
you
then I
when
would
you
have to
click
have the
on
YouTube.
that,
Right,
when you click on that, it gives you the screen options that you can share. There's like a whiteboard that you can share that somebody just shared. There is all the pages that you have up. So if you have YouTube already up, you shouldn't have a problem sharing it.
I always caution people, only because this has happened, be very careful, because when you go to share your screen, we can see what's on your screen.
Mhm.
So there is now an unemployed college professor, tenured college professor, who went to share his screen and showed that he was looking at pornography.
Really?
So if whatever you like to look at, just know that all of us are going to look at it when you go to
Right,
share
so
your
you would
screen.
only have one thing up on your screen, so you'd have
You
to have the
can't-
YouTube video up there already.
Yeah, you
And
can't
close
pick
everything
one.
else.
It's going to give you a menu, but you need to close down anything you don't want other people to see.
Right.
The things we learn.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So Kathleen, have you figured out how to share your screen? Are you brave enough to share?
you mean I can share my own screen now? If
Mhm.
I hit share screen,
If you
then,
want to.
well, I don't know what's up. Okay, so there are a couple of things here that I do not have. I don't have an iPhone or an iPad. Now, so you can see what I'm seeing. I see the Zoom
No, you-
screen, and it's
Yeah,
like,
you have to pick what you want to share.
it's just a picture of something.
Well,
Okay.
Okay, so you
So
can click
I
on that.
Right, so if you wanted to search for something else, so you've got the basic, advanced, and files. I don't know what all those are.
You'd want to open it before you started to share your screen.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I would have had to pull up the YouTube video that I want to share already.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying that before I got on this call, whatever you call it. Okay.
So when, Lynn, we're talking about when we say load the YouTube video, what exactly does that mean?
Have it up on a window before you open your or share your screen. And I'm trying to get the URL to see if I can do that to show you guys how.
So I think my error was that I tried to do it through a link in the video, and those
In the
I've learned are quite
PowerPoint, right?
in PowerPoint, which are just precarious. Not only when I'm doing it on Zoom, but even sometimes in presentations when I'm giving PowerPoint live. It's so funny, PowerPoint seems just so arcane now that we're doing this.
Sometimes you can right click on the link and it will ask if you want to open as a separate page.
Ah, okay.
Sometimes do it in a separate page. And usually if it's highlighted in blue, you're successful, but not today.
Another question is,
Hold up the video.
another question that's come up about, do you need to be the host to share your screen? And the answer is, it is up to, when we set our meetings up, we allow everybody to share their screen. But you have the ability to restrict who can share their screen, but we have it set up so that everybody can. There are a series of settings when you go to create a meeting that allow you a bunch of choices about how you want that meeting to operate.
Yeah, I watched those videos today. Every day I'm trying to learn a little bit more, and I guess the best way for me to do it is to I don't have a paid account. I guess I just need to try to set it up myself and see what I can learn. If I have to teach someone else how to do it, I need to know how to do it myself. How did you all learn how to use Zoom? Did you all
Just
just
using it.
Right.
Just by using it, yeah. Yeah, there are now on the Zoom website. There are a lot of tutorials.
Right,
that are
I saw
really
some
good.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a really robust help section, so that is really helpful.
I actually, and I will post this link because I've been asked to do it before. I actually find, and it's just part of it is my age and my skill level with technology, is that I can't use the Zoom tutorials because they're done by, excuse me, 22-year-olds who are using language that I am not familiar with, who are speaking at a pace that I can't, Lynn can do it, I can't. It's the 30 years of our age differences. So what I have found is there's a woman out of, I think, the University of Denver who does a 9-minute, what I call age-appropriate Zoom training. And that was where I started. So I'm happy to send that out to the folks who are on the call.
I looked at that on MCOA, and I think that is also would be well received by a senior.
Oh, you would? That's good advice.
I think that, but with the Zoom on, if you go on YouTube University and look at a Zoom video, like how to use Zoom, I have to stop it, rewind it like 10 times.
Yes, so do I.
It goes so fast.
Right.
That's not my thing. So I was thrilled to find this other set of training materials. And also, it's sort of like when I get on an airplane, I like to see flight attendants with a little crow's feet. It makes me feel better. And this woman has that. Mostly, Kathleen, I would create a free account.
I
and
have
get
one.
your,
I have the free account.
Then, in my neighborhood at 5 o'clock on a Friday night, we all turn on Zoom and we have a glass of wine and we draw on the whiteboard and we share screens of our, 20 pictures of our kids, whatever. It's just a matter of playing with it that makes you feel comfortable.
But how do you do a chorus? How do you do a practice, a rehearsal for singing? Because I sing in a group and it's just one person at a time.
Well, it's tricky because the rehearsal, first of all, my choir has a whole bunch of graduate students from Berkeley and from the BU Opera Company. I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated crowd, and we totally milk their technology skills. We feed them, they provide tech support, is sort of the way it works. And what happens is that you listen to the rehearsal, and then on your phone, so I'm listening, I have my earphones on, I'm listening to the director, I'm singing aloud, whatever. And then I record my second soprano part at a certain meter that she's directing. So she sets the tone, we sing all together, I sing on my phone, and then I send that to her and it gets all blended together.
Oh, so that's so everybody sends in their thing and then someone melds it all together?
Right, it's not that hard to do.
So it's not instantaneously, is it? I mean, you don't.
No. Somebody has to do it. And if 2 second sopranos don't show up, they just do Patty Sullivan times 3, and it's painful to listen to.
Can I try to share my screen and show Kathleen? I know this was supposed to be a Facebook meeting, but
No. This is why we do these, so people can relax and play and see what we're doing.
So Kathleen, I'm not very good at this either, but I'm going to try. Patty's really patient with herself and everybody else. So
that's what you have to be.
We're on the screen together, and I'm going to click on share screen at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a lot more on there than I thought I'd find.
Yeah, look before you click.
This is the video, but it will show up like this, I guess. I thought it was going to be different. So at home, you'll have the Zoom meeting up here in one little bar, and then the YouTube video will be here. So you click on this little box to maximize the video.
Right, yep.
And then I don't know what's the real content. This is someone's trip to Ireland, so that's a commercial. So I can play the commercial. You just play it.
Right, then you can pause it, right?
I'm gonna pause it, I'm gonna minimize it, and I'm gonna ask them how do I not share anymore? Oh, stop sharing at the top.
Stop sharing.
At the top.
At the top. And then we go back to the meeting. But I always get nervous when I open that screen because, like you said, not that I have anything bad, but so much more shows up than I want.
Exactly, and there's no way to stop that.
Right, okay. So hopefully that will help you. I have no idea how to do Facebook. If we do it, it's gonna be like baby steps.
You know,
And
Facebook, I know.
It's easy. It really is easy. So I'm going to go back to the chat bar. And if the question is about a HIPAA violation. So when you go to share your screen, I think everybody should try to do that. Just everybody go down and check on that button that says share screen so you can see what it looks like.
Mhm.
So the only way that there would be a HIPAA violation is that if you decided to share your email. And I would not recommend doing that.
No.
So if everybody wants to go down and you click on share your screen, you can see the windows that are presented. And you get to pick which window that you want to show. So the important thing is just to pick the right window and not to have your email up with a confidential something that's going on with a client that you don't want the world to see.
All right. One thing I did learn today is that you do have to click on the share computer sound to, for instance, I think that YouTube video, in order for people to hear it, I have to click on that share computer sound, which you can, I think you can
Oh,
see
you know,
right there.
Because Patty didn't know how to do that. Where is that?
Yeah,
Well-
Susan, you know, I didn't know how to do that. And so Kathleen, can you share a video, or Susan, will you go back and try to share the video again that you were trying, and we'll all figure out how to turn the sound on?
Why my email doesn't show up open over here, but I got 20 screens open. Let me close.
It's dizzying.
I am like, I got a recipe up there. I got everything.
Oh, what's the recipe for?
Oh, it's a low carb microwave cake.
Ooh.
I don't know. My husband's a diabetic. Whoop, HIPAA.
Yeah, HIPAA.
Delete that from your recording.
Gotcha.
Can't get
That's our next thing, how to edit in Zoom.
All right, how do I get back to Zoom? Share screen, if the video is still there. All right.
Another good suggestion from the Franklin Senior Center. I think Maggie was with us. And
Oh,
that
hi,
is,
Maggie.
oh wait, let's see. Okay, so here's our shared screen. And we're gonna play the video. Now, Kathleen, you said you had to press a certain button to share the sound. Where is that?
It was in the previous screen when I shared. Oh, it says, I cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Only
so-
one person
Only
can
one
share
person
at a
can share at
time.
a time.
Right, so let's pull down the shared screen, Susan, and then let's turn the audio on before you
Am I putting it up or?
share it again.
Okay. There's the video. So I don't know where she's talking about, but I'll play
It
it
was
When you-
before
click
I
on
accessed
share
the other
screen.
screen.
before. Okay.
Yeah, when you click on share screen, oh, it still says, all right, let me try this again. I don't know if you'll see what I'm seeing.
I see what you're saying, share computer.
It's the very bottom left corner. It says share computer sound.
Can everybody see that?
That has to be clicked in order for them to hear what's on your computer that you're trying to share.
How do you know that?
I
That's great.
saw that on the video that one of the
Well,
videos I
this
watched
better.
today.
So could everybody hear that commercial?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we all learned something new.
thank you. Let's see, how do I get out of this stuff?
So you can want to stop sharing. So Maggie, I thought I saw Maggie earlier.
Hi, everyone.
One of the
I'm here
things we're,
on my sound. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hi.
Maggie. It's Kathleen.
Hi,
Okay,
everyone.
Hi,
Oh, I
Kathleen.
see you.
there you are. I thought I
Hi.
saw you before.
Well, I have a really noisy dog, and it's about dinner time, so I have to,
Oh,
put her aside. She was pretty noisy. Okay. So just to back up a little bit before you mentioned that, Patty, about where we're going with the conference call. I'm speaking over to you, Kathleen. I didn't have that button in my lower left-hand corner for.
No, you had to click on the screen sharing.
Let me try it
That's
again.
when, if you
Try it
go
again.
from where you are now, click on your screen share,
Got it.
the button. You have to click that.
Found it. Okay. Thank you. Very good. Okay.
I'm happy learning
now.
one new thing, one new useful thing every day.
Every day.
if that's all I have, I'm in heaven. Just one. All right, Maggie, talk about your conference calls.
So yeah, so of course we're all talking about using Zoom, which is a visual platform, right? There, and we do know that when you set up that or you schedule the Zoom call, oftentimes they'll give you a phone number that you can call into, which is good. But prior to all of this Zoom nonsense, one of the things that I had been doing with my visually impaired people was providing a conference call. It's a free conference call, and it can host up to about 100 people on the call. So I found that to be helpful for my visually impaired people, or for my people who are low income and maybe do not have a computer. And then there are those people who maybe have a computer or a tablet, but they can't afford to pay Comcast the exorbitant fees to have internet access. So I actually have a fairly good percentage of people who get in on my weekly conference calls. And it's really simple. It's a web address. It's called freeconferencecall.com. And you can use it as often as you want. They give you one dedicated phone number. So it's helpful because it's not confusing for my people. They know that every week they call the exact same phone number. They type in the exact same access code. And you can have it for 40 minutes for free. And then they send you a report, which is nice. They tell you who got in on your call. And that's helpful for me. I just throw that right into my senior center to collect my data when I'm done. So,
But you have to access it using the internet.
no, that's what's nice about it. No internet required.
So just the phone call.
It's just a phone call.
So how do you give them the phone number?
I call them up.
Oh,
I call
you
them.
tell
and I
them
say,
what time to call?
Yep. So they all know that now every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, they all call 978-990-5298. I've got it memorized. And then you hear a voice, and then they type in the access code, and then they come into the call. And like the good old days when we had conference calls by phone.
Right. So you give them the access code.
As well, yes.
Oh.
Yep. And what's nice about that is there was a week or so ago where I had to be away. And so one of my volunteers hosted the call for me. And she just came in early as the host of the call. And it was the same as usual. Everybody just phones in and they just come on one at a time. So I found that to be helpful for my vision impaired people. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is I've also found during this COVID thing that all of our seniors, especially my low vision people, are looking for socialization. So I found a group called Hadley, which services the low vision community. They offer monthly discussion groups for a variety of interesting topics. I'm going to share my screen with you now, and I'm going to show you what Hadley can offer. You guys good?
Yep.
Okay. So let me go over to, where is my Hadley? Oh boy. All right, I gotta learn how to do this. I thought it was up on my, it's not whiteboard. Here we go. It's here. Okay, so here is Hadley. It's just up here. You'll see hadley.com. They offer discussion groups.
Hadley EDU.
Yep. And if you scroll down this page, you will find they have a monthly discussion group for people who like technology, cooking, fitness, a travel group, writer's circle, crafting group, resources for people who are visually impaired, a gardener's club. So once a month they can call into these groups from across the country and they just talk. And it's a nice piece of socialization.
Right.
There's another group that does this exact same thing. It's called Living Well, and they do something similar. So that serves two populations for us. It's the low vision people, and it's just people who are feeling isolated. So
it's phone only.
yes, yep, yeah. So let me just do.
We have posted on the website, Lynn, I think I'm right. I know it was posted in Breeze this week. I listed about 4 companies that are, I think, and includes this one, that have phone-in only conversations.
Yeah, so I'll click on this. You can tune in, and it gives you, I'm moving you guys around the screen. It gives you, the time to call in. It gives you the phone number right here, and it gives you the meeting ID number. And then you can Zoom, evidently. So
Right.
that's an option. for you
Are
guys?
these calls toll-free, or do you have to pay for the call?
You know, I'm not sure. I use my cell phone, which now gives me free calling anywhere. So yeah,
They-
that's a good
the-
point.
A 929 number is a tolled call.
Ah, okay.
So, and we have been running into the problems with Zoom with free accounts that if you dial into a Zoom call, it's not a toll-free call. So all of a sudden a senior gets this huge phone bill.
Ah, so that's not
Yeah,
good.
I encourage you to use your computer audio, because if you do try calling in to a phone number, you can get charged.
Okay. So now with the other one, that freeconferencecall.com, they did give me a local number. It's a 978, which is in our area code, in our, in Massachusetts. So that one did work.
And it also is a familiar number. It's a familiar exchange,
Yeah.
which I think helps.
Yeah, that's excellent. Now, before we go, I have one thing. Have any of you got any plans to go back into your senior center yet? Or are you still on hold for that? Waiting?
On hold in Hudson.
Do you have a date yet picked to go back?
Oh, no, not yet.
Just yourself? We're talking about going back June 1st and then just the staff. And at some point we'll figure out, the limited, ridiculous way of doing things from there on. Maggie, do you plan to go back? Is your senior center going to be open for staff?
Starting June 1, we're
Yeah.
going to be offering meals for people who want to drive by, and we're going to give them a bagged lunch. They can make a donation. It's kind of an in-kind donation, but it's our effort to start. This past week, staff has gone in, or just senior staff, just the executive director, and maybe one or two other people have gone in once a week. But no, I don't think we're looking at any specific date in the future, the near future.
For the staff, though, for
For
the staff.
One person goes in now. Our executive director goes in once a week. And starting June 1st, our kitchen staff will go in. They're going to make meals, and seniors from our town are welcome to come by and swing by in their car, and we're going to give them a brown bag lunch.
Right. Do they have to call and make an appointment to do that?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we know how many meals to make, but we're shooting for 50. We're thinking the first week, probably 50.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. But we don't have a specific date for the full-on open. Not yet. Does anybody?
No.
Okay.
We're seeing
Townsend has had people in the, Townsend has had staff in the building pretty much the whole time. We've gone down, we've alternated who can be in the building at the same time, but we mostly work from home, but we've been alternating in the whole time, but no plans to go back.
Thanks.
we're seeing a real mix of openings, and Betsy Connell and staff have been working really hard on a reopening set of guidelines, which are in the works, but we're in phase 3, whenever that is, and we all are sort of scrambling. But for example, Jean in Billerica has to be at her office every morning at 7:30 because her staff is there, and she has to take their temperature before they come in.
Yeah, we'll be doing that too.
A lot of you will be.
It's been a
So
fast
any
2
other-
months.
Yeah.
Has anybody required staff to be tested?
I have not heard that.
No? Okay.
I can tell you one last thing. My sister called in sick to her employer, which I won't say who it is, but she was told that she had to have a COVID test before she could go back to work.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Wow. Well, I hope she is well.
she is. She just got the result today.
Good.
So she can go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, but still.
Can
All
I,
right.
can I
Go
ask
ahead,
one
Janice.
question? Does anybody here, has anybody thought about having, once you open up and seniors come in, having seniors tested, have their temperature scanned? Has anybody else thought about that? I know it's not a requirement, but I have board members that really want us to have that done. But I know I was on something, Patty, with you earlier today, and people are questioning legal issues. We know it's not, somebody can have a fever and not have COVID. Somebody can have a fever and not, I mean, so I don't know. Is anybody thinking about that? Only because it's such a, our population, we have to be so careful. But I don't know if it's overkill to have like a scanning machine.
We'll have guidelines that I think they're still working on right now, so I haven't seen those final guidelines. All I know is the staff has to be confirmed that we don't have a temperature before we go into work.
Yeah. I guess it's okay for employees to do it, for companies to have the employees do it, but there's a question as to whether or not it's legal or if you can do it with the public. But then again, airlines are doing it, right? Certain places are doing it. So I don't know, just a question.
That's a good question.
We've got lots to think about, and it sounds like lots of time to think through it. But it's we're making this all up as we go along and learning from each other. So I very much appreciate your time today, ladies. And for the things I've learned, Kathleen, thank you for showing me how to turn the volume on. So I, as I said at the beginning, we're going to continue these programs. If you have ideas for particular Zoom calls that would be helpful, please let me know. My email is patty@mcoaonline.com, and we have a list of them coming up, but I just want to make sure we're capturing what's needed in the field.
Yes,
And also, if you
great.
ever have a Zoom question, you're welcome to call me, or if you just want to play, you're welcome to call me as well.
Terrific, thank you.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a lovely long weekend.
Oh,
All right,
yes.
bye, ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.